Hey guys, welcome to Cosmic Road. Oh my God, we got the Nazca mummies to talk about. Did y'all see the Nazca mummy presentation? Did y'all enjoy the Nazca mummy presentation? It was kind of a mess, guys. It was kind of a mess. Yeah. Oh my God, it was such a mess. For 40 minutes, we didn't have sound at all, and then when we did get sound, the English was spotty because it was largely in Spanish. Then the translation was sometimes there'd be translated segments and sometimes there wouldn't be translated segments. This is catastrophic disclosure, guys. It really is. Sorry, I still got kind of a cold here. Yeah, the reason I'm doing this. Oh, and by the way, of course, get in here, guys. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I do talk about stuff. I got words. I got words, guys. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments below. Yeah, the reason I'm doing it this way as opposed to a regular video, I did it 3 times. I shot this whole thing 3 times the regular way to get a reaction up tonight. I'm having sound issues, guys. I'm having sound issues with OBS. My screen sharing software didn't want to work. Did not want to work. So I don't know what's going on with OBS. The microphone is fine, and it's recognizing the Yeti, my microphone, as the input source. So I don't know what the problem is. It's weird. It's weird, guys. But anyway, okay. So we had the hearing, right? And they take us through it. They give us some of the old material. We spend a lot of time on like Maria, but we do get the new guys. We do get these new guys. Santiago, little Santiago there. I think he's the one that they think might be related to Maria, but like a small version of Maria, but a little different. He does have some differences with Maria. And then we also, yeah, and he's got eyelashes, which is interesting because they don't seem to have any other hair. They have, yeah, they talk about how they're hairless and scaly, but he's got eyelashes. Do lizards or reptiles have eyelashes? I don't know, but he's got this big implant on his neck. Isn't that crazy? What are these implants for, guys? Do you have any idea what these implants are for? And keep in mind, in some of these implants, the bone has grown around the implant. In other words, they were inarguably living beings when the implants were put in. So yeah, what were these implants? What were they? They're yeah, it's not like to hold together a doll. And then we get this guy. I don't know what he was saying. It wasn't in English. Jaime at least spoke English, thank God. Now Jaime wasn't really happy. He goes on a tirade about how he's been mistreated, and he has. He really has. I mean, he says I've been humiliated, discredited, defamed, and my lawyer is going to speak about that. And he's got a great point. I mean, without Jaime, without Thierry Jaman or Jamin, we wouldn't be having this UFO disclosure. And this is UFO disclosure, guys. These guys right here are not us. They may not be aliens, they're probably hybrids, but this is disclosure, guys. And so thank you so much, Jaime and Thierry, for getting this to the public. Yeah, we do spend a lot of time on Maria, and I didn't see any new research, and the research that was presented or what was presented wasn't great. For example, they talk about how she has these big bug eyes, and then they give this picture saying this is what she looked like after they just told us she had scaly skin and no hair. I mean, the whole presentation was rocky, McMahon. It was rocky. It was rough. I don't know what was going on in this presentation. Why couldn't they have gotten a producer or some sound guys? They're in Beverly Hills. They can't get some sound guys to figure this out because, yeah, I mean, like I say, a lot of it wasn't even in English. There weren't any sharp graphics. It was a mess. It was a mess. But for all that it was messy, we are getting disclosure, guys. Those guys are hybrids or whatever they are. But yeah, like this guy finally comes up and he's speaking English, and then the Spanish translator comes on and speaks over him, so you can't hear one of the few actual English speakers in the presentation. It's so frustrating. Yeah. So I mean, why couldn't they have gotten some slick visuals and some because I've seen reconstructions of what Maria may have looked like, and it didn't look like that weird bug-eyed woman. So yeah, I don't know what is going on there. It's so weird. But yeah, let me know if you guys saw it. Did y'all see the video? What did you guys think? It was a disaster. I mean, I hate to say it was a disaster because it was UFO disclosure. It really was. But yeah, no giants. Okay, that's another thing, guys. That's another thing that really ticks me off, guys. Okay, I mean, all right, look at this. Look at this. Well, this is a giant. This is a giant alien head. I don't know if this is the original head or the reproduction, because there was one giant alien head that was sold to some guy in Hollywood. Yeah, some actor or something. But this is what the giant alien head looks like. So why didn't we get this? Why didn't they present this at the press conference? They should have presented this in some hands. If they couldn't come up with the whole bodies, then at least show the head and the hands, and also an artistic reconstruction of what this being may have looked like. I'm so tired of the it's cake memes or the it's a doll knee jerk reaction that so many people have. It's not a doll. It's not cake. Look at the research. It says it has had 50 doctors and scientists study these specimens so far and validating their authenticity as actual specimens, guys. This is legit. But you get the cake and it's a doll. Uh, Giant aliens would blow the lid off this whole thing. You wouldn't get it's a doll or it's a cake if it's a giant alien. I mean, that's a lot of cake. I mean, maybe there's some hungry guys out there that could eat 9 or 10 foot tall alien cake, but still, that's a lot of cake, guys. That's a lot of damn cake. So, yeah, this thing was horribly produced, horribly presented. It wasn't punchy. They didn't get to the point. They didn't like take us through the interesting aspects of the specimens. It was very dry, going over some of the anatomy and stuff, without really, accentuating the exciting parts of it, without making it exciting. You got to gauge the public's imagination, guys. We got giant aliens. They can't make that interesting. But they didn't even show the giant aliens. But you know what? That's okay. That's okay. I'm letting the giants go. This is me letting the giants go. I'm letting the giants go because, most non-human interactions are with little guys. So it would probably be more appropriate for UFO disclosure if it comes in the form of biologics to come in the form of little guys. So that's fine. That's fine. But we need a competent presentation of the little guys. Getting to the point, making it slip. It was having some artistic reconstructions of what these beings may have looked like. Maybe even spicing it up with some local legends in some, art, some of the local art of the peoples of the time, 1,000, 2,000 years ago, that were depicting these living beings living amongst them, or at least side by side with them in some way. And maybe the legends about how they live in caves and they come from underground, trying to understand who these beings are and showing that the locals knew who they were and were interacting with them. The locals were interacting with them. They knew who they were. There's a wonderful textile of a Nazca textile of one of the little guys, the classic Nazca mummies, like in the thumbnail. I think I think that's what I used in the thumbnail. One of those classic Nazca mummies laying an egg, and the egg hatches, and it's showing another egg in its belly. That's actually in a Nazca textile from the time. So yeah, show that. Show that. You're not going to get it's a doll or it's cake. If you can show these were living beings that were coexisting with the humans of the time. It's ridiculous, guys. It was just not a really well put together presentation. But okay, so there was some good stuff that came out of it. There was some good stuff that came out of it. So yeah, what came out of it? Well, what came out of it? Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, this the Peruvian Health Department or Health Ministry confirms the Nazca mummies as unknown organisms to science. That is, yeah, the Nazca mummies are unknown to science, and they are organisms. They were living beings, and they require further research. So that's really good stuff. That is really good stuff. Yeah, love it, love it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Yeah, the little guys are just fine. Nothing wrong with the little guys. But they did kind of tease us with the giant aliens, right? They did. They did. They didn't say they were going to present the giant aliens, but they did showcase they did show us the giant alien reproduction head. Right around the time Jaime Maussan was saying, "Oh, there's going to be something really big and juicy in the hearing." That he couldn't reveal at the time. So yeah. Anyway, I feel like we were teased with the Giants, and we were cock blocked with the Giants. Giant block guys. Hey Jay, how's it going? Hey, Jumbles is here. Hey Jumbles. He says screw the Giants. So Ross has his own show on News Nation now. That's huge. His own show. He says next episode is on the missing plane. Okay, well, so Ross Coulthard, is he going to cover MH370? That's wild. I would love to see. Is he going to have Ashton Forbes on? Who's he going to have on? Who's he going to have on? Yeah, because he's got to have some expert talking about it, right? If they're going to talk about MH370, he's got to have somebody that knows what's going on, and who knows better than Ashton Forbes, right? So could Ashton Forbes go on Ross Coulthard? That'd be huge for Ashton. Yeah, I don't know what I think about the MH370. I go back and forth on that. Sometimes I think it's genuinely anomalous. Other times I think it's disinformation deliberately put out there by the government to hide some shenanigans, whether they shot that plane down or covering for somebody who did. I don't know. But sometimes I think it's probably genuinely anomalous. But yeah, so who saw? Yeah, you love the giant cakes. Yeah, it would have to be a big cake. It would have to be a big cake graphic design for free. How's it going, man? John Harrison says, I thought about getting that over the border. Oh, and there's nothing to see here. It's swamp gas, CIA, Pentagon, Arrow told border agents to keep it. Yep. Yeah. Where's Gary Nolan? Gary Nolan, get on this, guys. We need Gary Nolan on the mummies. Yeah, he got burned on the Atacama mummy, or did he? Y'all have all heard the story, the recent back and forth on that whole thing, where he may have told a producer of one of the Stephen Greer documentaries that it was created by aliens. But then he roundly denied that on Twitter, and he said it never happened. However, then he did say something else. He said, so there may have been some conversation, or it was all in fun. So he said it. So he said the Atacama mummy was created by aliens. I mean, it almost has to be, right? It's an elongated skull being found in the same general region as the Nazca mummies and the Paracas skulls, not that far away from either of those. Of course, the dating on it seems like it's much more recent. So I've heard maybe as new as 40 years, as fresh as 40 years. So possibly just a series of genetic mutations. But I've also heard some other research that's been done showing that it wasn't an infant, showing that or an embryo or whatever, showing that it was actually an adult of some sort. I don't know if that's true or not. I tend to trust Gary Nolan more than I trust whoever I heard that from. But interesting, right? Interesting. What do you think about the Atacama mummy? Is that a genuinely anomalous specimen? If it is, and if the dating on that is right, then there's little elongated skull people running around today. Right? All right. Okay, I'm trying not to miss your comments. Let's see. If you want me to definitely see your comment, leave a super chat or a super thanks, whatever it's called, because it'll pop up in bold and I won't be able to miss it. Yeah, I'm shilling for change, guys. Yeah, Tristan says, Chumples, you follow Ashton. Who doesn't follow Ashton? He's got some good stuff. He's got some good stuff. Like I say, I'm not 100% sold, but he definitely has put in the time. Uh, Contigo says April 4th, next one. That's the next mummy hearing. What's on April 4th, Contigo? Let me know. Weird File says, wonder why they're slowing down now. U.S. interference, slowing down with the Nazca mummy research. I only see it heating up. Yeah, shitloads of mummies. Yeah. Nurse Diesel says, need someone with real credentials, as Peru authorities are most likely staging for the lawsuit with Mexico. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so on the one hand, we've got the Ministry of Health saying the mummies are real. On the other hand, we've had the Ministry of Culture in Peru that has tried to suppress this stuff and put out disinformation. Seizing obvious dolls that the maker says are dolls made for tourists and claiming those are the Nazca mummies. Just putting out blatant disinformation and trying to suppress the real information. Why are they doing that? I think it's, they're probably part of the cover up, like an overt part of the cover up, not simply trying to protect, a Peruvian culture, but actually part of the control group trying to suppress this information. But who knows? Maybe not. Maybe they're just trying to protect their culture as they see it. I don't know. But either way, they're getting sued for $300 million. That's right. The Ministry of Culture in Peru is getting sued for $300 million for this disinformation. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health is saying the mummies are real. Love it. Love it. So maybe the pendulum is starting to swing. I hope that some people saw this press event, as rough as it was, guys, and it was so rough. It was so rough. But I'm hoping that some people in the West are starting to take this more seriously. They would take a lot more seriously if it had been better presented. It was not well presented. It was bad. It was bad. They did a bad job. It was catastrophic disclosure, guys. It was catastrophic disclosure. But hey, it was disclosure. It was disclosure. Yeah. Pete doesn't trust Gary Nolan. He's hiding whatever he finds. I don't know. He might. I don't know. I love Gary. I think Gary's great, but he definitely can't say all he knows. And if he's been read into any of the programs, he might be obligated to lie about it. And, that's not even his fault, really. That's just something that is a thing when you're read into these programs. Are drunk, high. I don't know what y'all are talking about. Nurse Diesel says, get Nick Pope's wife to do the analysis along with your wife. Oh, yeah, that's right. My wife does genetic engineering, or not. I mean, that's not her main gig, but she is a scientist and she has altered genes from time to time. And she has her friend that does gene sequencing, and they took a look at those results, the DNA results. So Padre Mortalis says it's a deformed baby. Totally could be. But, as Gary Nolan says, the Atacama mummy, if it was a deformed baby, it's like 25 separate mutations. That's a lot of mutations, guys. What are the odds of that versus, what are the odds of that looking so much like an elongated skull being versus, I don't know, guys. I don't know about the Atacama mummy. I think we need more research on it. Thank you so much, Ian. I appreciate that. LOL says, he says, LOL, it must have been a shit show if you say it was that bad. Hey, it wasn't great, Ian. It wasn't great. I'll be honest. It was, for the first 40 minutes, there was no sound. After that, the English would come and go. There was large sections where they're talking about the evidence that was not in English. So frustrating, right? Frustrating. Yeah, so not great, not great. Sherman Tor Osborne says Peruvian Ministry of Culture is fighting the case. They hate the mummies, Mason, and ancient alien theorists. Okay, yeah, I'm sure they do hate the ancient alien stuff. Graphic design for free. I love graphic design for free. He's the man. He's really helped me out a lot on Discord. So thank you so much. I really appreciate that. He says probably a lot of hybrids. Yeah, I think you're right. I think they're probably all hybrids in the Nazca region. Contigo saying it's CGI. What CGI? The mummies? Mr. Legendary Stinson says Ashton had a bad appearance on the Julian Dory podcast and apparently really rubbed Julian the wrong way. Well, I didn't see that. I mean Ashton, he could work on his bedside manner a little bit. I mean, I love you, Ashton, but it's a thing. It's a thing. Let's see. Astro J says, "Yep, it's a giant shit show." Graphic design for free. The control group is getting more and more childish, making more and more mistakes. Who is suing? Yeah. Who is suing the Ministry of Culture? Is it is it the guy who they seize the dolls from? Uh, yeah, I don't know if that part was in English. I'm not sure if I got that part. It was an extremely clunky presentation, Rusty. It really was. Shermanator says they hide pre-Inca artifacts found at Saskatchewan, so they hide a lot more. I said that right. I said that. I totally said that right. So they hide a lot more than just that. Yeah. Greer was involved. How is Greer involved in any of this? I don't see Stephen Greer involved in the Nazca mummies at all. But just because Stephen Greer is involved in something doesn't mean it's bad. I mean, he is the one that brought forward great whistleblowers like Michael Herrera. So sorry guys. Yeah, I got a little bit of cold. Not too bad. Could just be allergies. Shermanator says I'll never trust an archaeologist again unless it's Indiana Jones. You can always trust Indy. Jumble says we see you, we hear you, and we can smell you. Okay. Who can you see, Jumbles? Who are you seeing? Put the mushrooms down. Ringo says, did Mason already reveal the new mummies? Yeah, there were two new mummies presented. Absolutely. And if you missed that when I went through it again, I can show it to you again. Okay, is that it? I think that's it. Here we go. Okay. If I can share my screen. There we go. Okay. There we go. Here we go. Here is the presentation. Here is the actual presentation. And here's one of the new mummies, Sebastian. And they show you scans of Sebastian. And, they show you all the specs and everything. And, I mean, you can see the strangely slanted eyes that are, like diagonal. And the big weird egghead. It's not a human looking fella. But check it out. He's got eyelashes. They don't seem to have hair. They have scaly skin. But Sebastian at least has eyelashes. What's up with that? Do y'all know if do reptiles have eyelashes? I've never heard of that. I've never heard of reptiles having eyelashes or birds. Do birds have eyelashes? Let me know if you're a bird or reptile expert. But yeah, so Sebastian was one of the bodies. And where's the other one? Those are the little guys. Where is the other one? Okay, let me go to the CAT scan. It wasn't punchy. It wasn't entertaining. They didn't get to the point. They didn't make it interesting. They've got alien bodies, and you just can't make it interesting. Come on, guys. Come on. You can do better than that. But yeah, I think that is the other one. I can't tell. No, maybe that's the other one. All right. Yeah, no, that okay. Let's do it over here. Okay, there you go. Okay, that guy will lean over so you can see it. Okay, lean. Anyway, okay. So yeah, those are the two new specimens that they presented today. They've already teased them. They've already teased them. And but yeah, that guy, very interesting looking. They said one of them might actually be related to Maria or her subspecies. It was a little different. The physiology was a little different, but it could be related to Maria. So, but yeah, it really interesting. But it wasn't fully grown. Maria is a fully grown specimen of her subspecies of hybrids, I guess. But yeah, yeah, just so really interesting. But you know what? Where were these guys? Where were these guys? This is what we needed to see. This is what we needed to see. We needed to see the freaking giants. We needed to see the giant. They've got giants. They got giant aliens, y'all. They couldn't even show a picture of the giant alien skull or reproduction of the skull. That they couldn't. Come on, come on. You got to engage the public's imagination, guys. You got to engage the public's imagination. But whatever, they didn't. They didn't. Is what it is. Is what it is. Let's see. Let's see. So yeah, shocking production. Yeah, it really was a shocking production. Oh, hey, Jim says, well, you don't have the sound issues. Hi, me and company ad. Oh, thank you so much, Jim. I appreciate that. Actually, I'm doing it this way as opposed to a regular video because OBS is acting up on me. Yeah, guys, I need your help. If y'all are tech savvy, OBS, my screen sharing software, isn't sharing the screen. Or sharing the screen. The audio is all jacked up. My mic is fine when I do StreamYards or Streamlabs, it's fine. But when I use OBS, the audio is all jacked up. I don't know why, because it's reading the audio input as the microphone. It's not like it's reset to, the computer speakers or whatever. So I don't know what's going on with OBS. It's going to make it difficult for me to keep making videos if I can't figure that out. So unless I just do it like this, but live streams don't get near as many views. Shalto de Puma says, I bet it was these dudes who came up with ayahuasca. Yeah, well, that's exactly right, my friend. That's exactly right. They had non-humans living amongst the peoples of those regions. And some of them may have passed some stuff on. The legend that my shaman related to us was that the gods gave the local people. Oh, well, okay, so there were gods living amongst the people in the Amazon of the time. And at a certain point, the gods left. And the people said, well, what will we do without you? And the gods gave them ayahuasca. And that was what they would do without them. And I guess it's a connection to these higher planes because these are probably higher dimensional beings of some sort, right? So that's, I think that's what ayahuasca is. Or I don't want to reduce ayahuasca in any way. Some people believe that ayahuasca is an actual deity or spirit or goddess. And so I don't want to reduce Mother Aya in any way. I don't understand Mother Aya. I wish I did. But I think that at least in part, it is a bridge for your consciousness to higher planes of existence. And it seems very unlikely that the peoples of the time would have created that because out of all the millions of plants in the Amazon, you have to combine two very specific ones. There's a couple of different ways you can do it, but you have to combine two very specific plants in order to create ayahuasca. You have to have one to produce the DMT, but since your body blocks DMT naturally because you secrete it in your sleep and when you die, and because your body blocks it, there is another component, another plant that blocks the blocker, allowing the DMT to work within your body for 6 hours. So so it just could that have been created by humans just randomly sticking some plants together? Yeah, I guess, but there were non-humans living in that area. So, yeah. So I don't know. I don't know where that knowledge came from. But that's a great point, Shalto. That's a great point. Contiago says no MH370. So Ross isn't going to cover MH370. Don says eyelash means probably hybrid. Okay, hybrid. Okay, okay. All right, probably, yeah, hybrid. Yeah, okay. I got you. I got you. Weird files, hybrid. Okay, I like that. Making me hungry. Making me hungry, guys. Tristan says, "Are you going to make a standalone program on this for tomorrow? Need some good footage to show the non-believers at work after I promised a giant." I know. I feel bummed that we didn't get a giant. No, I'm not going to make a standalone video other than this because, like I've just said, I'm having problems with OBS, my screen sharing program, and I don't know how to remedy that. I've been playing with it for hours trying to get my stupid OBS to work. I've rebooted it 1,000 times. I've tried to play with the audio settings to see if there's an audio setting fail somewhere, if it reset or something. I can't find the problem. And until I can fix that, I can't make a regular video. So, yeah, it's very frustrating. Very frustrating. Night Gazer says they say they presented two mummies. Sebastian is one, failed to show the second. Well, they went into detail about Sebastian. They showed the second on the CAT scan, but you have a good point. If they did cover it, it wasn't in English, and I didn't hear it. Yeah, South Georgia, USA here. Okay, welcome, no, fellow Southerner. I'm a Texan. Love it. Graphic design for free says Elizondo will come from the left and Greer will come from the right. They will work together without them knowing it themselves. I like it. I like the way you think. I think they will too. I think that they are both pushing for disclosure. I wish one of them would not be pushing so hard against the other one and they could just kind of work together and be cool. But they don't want to be cool. At least Greer doesn't want to be cool. So whatever. No giants. Greer and the tiny alien. what's up with all the Greer comments? Does he have any? Has he commented on the Nazca mummies? What does he say about the Nazca mummies? Lonnie says, "How old were the new mummies? Real aliens have no hair. The radiation makes it fall out in space. But these may be from Earth. Well, they may indeed be from Earth. It's likely, I think, that they were hybridized to live on Earth. I think that's probably what we're looking at is creations of the beings, earthly creations. And as far as I know, the beings date from like 1,000 years old to like, even 7,000 years old, I've heard. But I think like the giants were like maybe 3,000 years old or something like that. So, but I don't know about the 7,000. Don't quote me on that. But between 1,000 years ago and 3,000 years ago is about the general timeline for all the mummies. I don't know about Sebastian. If any of you guys remember how old Sebastian is, let me know. Hank says they are a bunch of amateurs that have found something real. They will bind a way to F it up. It's not looking good so far. But yeah, I mean, it's not even amateurs, right? Because they are professionals, professional tomb robbers. That's who found these guys, professional tomb robbers. And of course, they were selling stuff on the black market and probably still are. All the really juicy stuff, including the giants, are probably in the hands of people on the black market. It's so frustrating, guys. All of this was done backwards and wrong and stupid. And, a lot of it has to do with the Ministry of Culture covering things up and hiding things, because that's one of the stories is that they descended on one of these sites and seized stuff and covered it up. I don't know about that because I think there's some BS in some of these stories. Like that crazy video where the guy was fighting a mantis being in a cave. I don't know about that. That video makes no sense. It makes no sense for it to be legit, and it makes no sense for it to be BS. Because that thing would have taken some budget. And it got, just like a few hundred views. It wasn't played up at all. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. But anyway, so I don't know. I just try to focus on the bodies at this point, because there was that pyramidal structure and there were the little alien gadgets. in the writing on the pyramid. But because all of that was part of that one video where the guy was fighting the mantis being and that other being was there, I don't trust that video. On the other hand, I don't see how it makes any rational sense for that video to be fake because it would have required some resources to put that video together, some budget and some resources. And that doesn't make any sense. So, yeah. Dingo Blades, I love that name, says, I was so on board for this mummy thing, but it was such a mess. I don't know what the hell I was looking at. Now I'm more skeptical than before. Oh, such a fail on the part of Jaime Maussan and the others. They're losing people because of this press event. I agree, it was not a good press event, but you just need to study the research that has been done on the mummies. I put up a 2.5 hour supercut of a lot of the research that's been done on my channel. So just go look at the last couple days videos, and you'll see a 2.5 hour compendium of research that has been done by these 50 now doctors and scientists that have looked at these amazing specimens. So yeah, but I'm with you. That presentation was pretty rocky. But that is such a fail on the part of this presentation if they are actually losing people based on that. Wow. Coup de grace says, what's the leading theory on crypto terrestrial? Yeah, well, they could totally be crypto terrestrial. But if they are crypto terrestrials, that is the most massive gap in the fossil record of all time. So I don't think that's what it is. I think these are created beings of some sort of hybrids. But if you think they're crypto terrestrials, I totally hear you, because that would be like my number 2 hypothesis. Weird File says that or ET sapien hybrids. Yeah, that's what I think. Is it's just they took some human DNA and some alien DNA and some ape DNA and God knows what else and put it in a blender and you got the Nazca mummies. That's what I think is going on. And they have several different subspecies, and it's interesting. It's interesting. And then you've got the elongated. Okay, so here's an interesting idea. All right, could they have been created by the elongated skull people? All right, so bear with me. I was watching this awesome remote viewing of Teotihuacan. I said that right. By the Future Forecasting Group that includes Dick Algeier and Daz Smith, that have an over 90% accuracy rating. Okay. So, if you get multiple guys that have 90% accuracy rating and they're doing it double blind, that's a pretty solid hit. Well, they were seeing, or some of them were seeing, elongated skull beings as the god kings of the Teotihuacan people, right? In the elongated skull beings were in the general region of of Nazca, right? That same part of the world, generally speaking. And the elongated skull beings in Teotihuacan, when they were making this connection with them, they were interested in hybridization and genetic experiments. So, could they have created the Nazca mummies if that's the sort of thing they were into and they were in that same area? I don't know. Of course, they could have been hybrids themselves. Very likely that they were hybrids themselves. But it is interesting that they may have been interested in hybridization. But yeah, their civilization fell somehow. That was seen in the remote viewing. Can't think of something clever. Says, may you share some of your experiences with the plant? Any lessons taught? Yeah, I've had some amazing experiences with Mother Aya, and I've detailed some of them under the playlists called My Experiences. I actually had a very life-changing experience. I had 2 very, very significant experiences with Mother Aya. I've been to 10 ceremonies so far. I'm going to do another one probably next month, hopefully, if all goes well. No, sorry. But yeah, I had a healing. I had a healing of a crippling chronic physical condition, actually a birth defect. That governed my life, having to do with my intestines. You'll if you watch that video, you'll hear me talk about my intestines way more than you want to. But it was genuinely miraculous. And it has changed my life. So yeah. So I received a healing with Mother Aya that Western medicine couldn't fix. Eastern medicine couldn't fix. My wife was Chinese. She had me on herbs, trying to help me out, and it did keep me going, but it wasn't pleasant. So, but Mother Aya cured me. So yeah, genuinely miraculous. And then of course, at another time, I had what began the event that I call my Jesus ayahuasca UFO. And yeah, you can go watch that video. No, I was not on ayahuasca when I saw the UFO, but the ayahuasca session is what led to the UFO, and you'll see what I mean if you go watch that video. But I don't want to sidetrack everything by going into all of that right now. But yeah, I've had some amazing experiences with Mother Aya. It's genuinely amazing plant medicine that is the real deal. Now, be careful though. There are some bad shamans out there. I've heard some bad stories. So do your due diligence if you are curious. It will, I wouldn't even go into it if you're curious. If you go into it, if you feel the calling to do it, to partake in a ceremony, if you feel the calling, because it's an undertaking. You have to go on the dieta. There's sacrifices. It's a whole big deal. And so yeah, but if you feel the calling, then do your due diligence and find good shamans that are positive shamans, like the ones that I've been working with, fortunately. So yeah, but don't do drugs. Drugs are bad. Yeah. All right. Weird Inner Earth file says Inner Earth Operation High Jump, Admiral Byrd. Yeah, what is up with Operation High Jump, guys? I don't know which version of that story is real. Because there's, the official version, which of course is BS. But then there's more fantastic versions about him going, into the hole and visiting this utopian, paradise. And I don't tend to believe that. But is it possible that the Nazis had some UFO technology and that they were holed up in Antarctica? Yeah, I guess so. I guess it is. Yeah, speaking of remote viewings, there was another great remote viewing that the future forecasting team did on Maria Orsich. And I came away convinced that she was in touch with beings and they were giving her some technology and some wisdom. But then the Nazis stepped in and they, co-opted it and used it for evil. So, and she was scared. She was scared of them. So anyway, so I do think that the Germans did have some UFO stuff, or at least they were working on it. But there's so many different stories and different versions of those stories. Clearly, you have things like the bell that seems anomalous, and you have various other stories too. I don't know which of those stories are true, if any of them. However, it is very interesting that you have Operation Paperclip, and then they all came over and founded NASA or whatever, right? Embedded themselves just like Hydra in our government. It's crazy. It's creepy. It's crazy. NASA is weird and wild. You got Jack Parsons. You got the Yahtzees. It's a nutty place. It's a nutty place. Power says when Admiral Byrd went to Antarctica with a large military presence. Yep. Yes, he did. And there were casualties and damage to ships. So what happened down there? What happened? Was it actually a battle with German UFOs? I don't know. I don't know. Could have been. Could have been. I wish we had some corroboration on that. I really do. Christian says those alien mummies were fake. I saw the video showing they contained human bones. Yeah, well, you actually have to watch the research that's been done on the bodies by the people that have done the research. You can't watch the stupid debunking video by people that haven't looked at the bodies. Go look at the 40, 50 doctors and scientists that have actually studied the bodies. See what they say. Yeah. Do some research, my friend. Like I say, I put up a 2.5 hour video on my channel just yesterday showing the research that has been done, or some of it, on these bodies. They are intact beings. They've done live CAT scans by the director of the hospital showing they are intact beings. They are not cobbled together dolls. The implants that are in them the bone has grown around them. In other words, they were alive when those implants were put in. So, yeah, not dolls, guys, not cake. Sorry, but I encourage you to do some research. And if nothing else, go watch that video. Yeah, 2.5 hour long compendium of the research. Jessica Kelly says it was a total shit show. Hard to take anything serious. It seemed so unprofessional. They did a huge disservice to their very subject matter with the unprofessionalism of that presentation. No, you are 100% right. You are 100% right. It is so unfortunate. So unfortunate. Weird File says where he was led into inner earth. And yeah, that's a crazy story. By the way, I know I'm behind in your comments. If you want me to see your comment right away, please leave a super chat or a super thanks because it will appear in bold and I will see it instantly. Yeah. But I'm trying to get your comment, trying to go through all of them, but I'm pretty far behind. I'm like 15 minutes behind. Super crazy movie geek. Maybe Disclosure were the friends. Yeah, you're right. I love that. Disclosure was the friends we made along the way. I love it. I love it. Mystical Wonderland says, I'm glad I missed it. Had a feeling it would be a shit show. Yeah, well, it wasn't not a shit show. Sunstar Tequila says, I love your show. Thank you, Sunstar. Appreciate that. Shermanator says, only had the newest mummies about a month and dates are coming. Okay. So, hello, Jack. Steve Bissett comes tonight. No, Steve Bissett whipped out on me again. I don't know what's up with Steve. Yeah, I have not received even an email. Okay, here we go. He says, Jack, I screwed up. I went out thinking the podcast was at 6:30 p.m. I had canceled at 6:30 tonight and forgot. While I was out, my phone went dead. Ball game. I don't think you were live. Hopefully, I wasn't live. It's not going to be alive. Okay. Well, so yeah, so he's saying we're going to do it again. So we'll have to reschedule. I'll have to reschedule Steve, but yeah, there you go. It didn't happen today, but it's going to happen. Going to happen. I hope so. Steve is a powerhouse. Power. Speaking of power, Power says the part about Bird being shown under Earth was unfortunately just a fictional piece, but he did say some things that were interesting. Yeah, I think the journal that was supposedly written by Admiral Byrd about his adventures in inner space was fictional. So yes, I think you're right. So Don Henderson, oh, Cat's Eyes, thank you, Cat's Eyes. Good evening, my friend. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Don says, if it wasn't Gore Grest, we may not be where we are. The Disclosure Project got and lit of people interested. If you, yeah, yes, no, absolutely, they did get a lot of people interested in, as rough as it is, these are the same guys that have been bringing this information to us so far. As rough as they are bringing it, they are still bringing it. This is UFO disclosure. This is UFO disclosure. Yeah, exactly. Brooke to himself says, I want to see the tombs. Where's the tombs? Show us some tombs. I want some Indiana Jones style exploration of these giant tombs that are supposed to be very large, and supposedly they're not fully explored yet. So wouldn't that be amazing to do that? To do that live? I mean, what's going on there? I mean, is it the Ministry of Culture? Do they have like a cordon of men in black surrounding the tombs, or they're not letting anybody in? Something like that. Have they sealed it off with a bunch of concrete and some evil Terminator drones, keeping people out? What's going on? Yeah, Shermader says there's one that dates to 7,400 years old. That's amazing. Yeah, that's what I heard is that the oldest one was in the 7,000 year range. Shermanator, which one was the old one? Which one was the 7,000 year one? Lonnie says, thank you for reading my comment. Well, no problem. Well, that's what I'm here for. Well, Weird File says, yes, Mammy Power. It's so frustrating. Yes, Astro J. It was so frustrating. X37B says, there's a video for everything that claims it's all fake. Necro Age Mix says, Incas wore ayahuasca, Aztecs. Okay. All right. Not quite sure I'm getting that, but okay. Power says he said there is an enemy at the pole that can travel fast distances in seconds. Yeah, that is supposedly what he said. Now, the Y files did kind of a debunking on that, saying maybe that had been mistranslated or sensationalized. So, I'm not 100% on that. But something went down. Something went down with Operation High Jump. They went down there on a training mission or whatever the hell bogus official explanation they gave us. And people were killed, ships were damaged. Did one sink or two sink? So something went down. Something went down there. And they have not told us what that was. So it would not surprise me if it had something to do with Germans and UFOs, but I would like to see some, more compelling evidence. Alan Beck Sorensen says, I could see some hoaxers spending a huge amount of time faking one mummy, but not this many. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, there's supposed to be like 100 or more of these things. Does that make any sense for hoaxers to do and then to allow scientists and doctors to investigate them? No. If you're going to hoax it, you're going to sell it to the black market. You would hoax it to make money. They're not making money this way. So yeah, they're real. They're not bogus. There are some hoaxed, dolls. There are some dolls, and there are some ritual dolls, but we're not talking about those. We're talking about the actual specimens. So yeah, Alan says things and tell us what they are. Yeah. How hard can it be to get some proper scientists to look at these things? Well, there have been some proper scientists and some good doctors, but I know we all want to see some Western scientists and doctors. And there have been a few. There have been some U.S. people, some people in Canada, some people in Japan that have all looked at them and validated them, authenticated them as real, once living specimens. So we have had some of that, but people really want to see Gary Nolan do it. And, I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know if he's going to go there. I think that he's worried that would affect his future funding and credibility. So, yeah. Green Street went for Elizondo again. Yes, he did. I don't even comment on Green Street anymore unless he says something really spicy. Wally says, Steve Bassett coming tonight. Apparently he wants to reschedule, but it's going to be soon. X37B says, if the aliens were blowing up New York City, somebody would make a video that said it was fake. Yeah, probably. Outtakes from Independence Day, right? Brooke to himself says they have a retractable neck like a turtle in ET. Yeah, the little guys, the classic Nazca mummies, may have had retractable necks like ET. Isn't that wild? ET not only nailed the basic look of the Nazca mummies, but also potentially the retractable neck. Didn't ET have like 3 fingers? I don't know. Well, what did Steven Spielberg know? What did Steven Spielberg know? Lonnie says they need to bring a suit against Mick West and the guerrilla skeptics. Yeah, they do. They do. Disinformation, propaganda. It's just wrong. Brooke to himself, the big skulls are the real ones, but some folks bound their children's head to emulate. Yeah, oh, absolutely. I've talked about that numerous times on the channel, Brooke to himself. And that's actually really compelling evidence of alien presence amongst humans is the skull binding. I made a whole video dedicated to that because there was skull binding practiced, obviously in South America, Australia, Africa, France, all around the world. They were practicing skull binding. So, what are the odds that that was created independently by a bunch of different cultures? I find the odds of that very small, especially when we know there were genuine elongated skull beings. So, is it not more likely that the peoples were doing it to emulate the elongated skull beings, or maybe to try to recapture, to get some of their abilities, right? Because apparently they had some abilities according to the remote viewing I just saw. So maybe they wanted some of that godlike power for themselves, so they did skull binding. Or alternately, maybe the elongated skull people thought they were beautiful and they wanted the people they lived amongst to be beautiful as well. So they encouraged this practice. So for whatever reason they did it, and to me that is a clear indication of alien interaction in those cultures, especially because in some of those cultures you do get like in Australia, you do get depictions of non-humans in the artwork of the humans of the time. So that's what I think is going on with the skull binding, is that it was to emulate or to capture some of the abilities, or else it was done. It was encouraged by the beings to make people look more like them. But yeah, I think that's clear evidence of alien involvement in the cultures of the time, of the human cultures. Jaime, yeah, I said that right. Deserves much credit. Yes, he does. He does. Ill AMG says, "You finally caught alive. Good day from Australia." Hey, I'm going to be interviewing Peter Maxwell Slattery soon. I love Peter Maxwell Slattery from Down Under. I forget if he's, I think he's in Sydney, or I think he's in Australia. I think he said he's on Sydney time. I'm going to be interviewing him next month. To me, Peter Maxwell Slattery is one of the most important experiencers. He's up there with Chris Bledsoe, if not even higher in a way, because he has conscious memory of being taken to other dimensions. It's pretty cool stuff. And if you go see that movie, the documentary he put out about some of his experiences called Multidimensional, and he's got like more UFO videos than anybody because he's got like more activity, more involvement. They have more involvement with him. Different species have involvement with him than just about anybody, and so he's a really high level experiencer. And we got a super chat from Debbie Decker. Oh, thank you so much, Debbie Decker. Do you have a comment? I want to get to your comment because you're helping the channel. I appreciate that. Thank you. Shermander says they damn sure don't do DNA tests on elongated skulls. No, they do DNA tests on elongated skulls. In fact, the DNA from one of them showed that one of the parents, because they couldn't figure out the other one, but one of the parents actually came from Scotland, in a Paraka skull, and it had red hair. So so they are doing some DNA on the elongated skulls. Let's see. Katiko says, was better than that effort today, Jack. My wrap up. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it wouldn't take much to be better than the effort today. Jay Hamster says, where should I go for my first time? Oh, ayahuasca. Well, I'm fortunate enough to have a local, or not super local. It's like 3 hours away. But you might have to go to Peru. I can't tell you where to go, and I can only introduce people I know to my people. But look around, ask around if you have some cool friends, and like the energy communities like Reiki or stuff like that. If you have some cool paranormal buddies, maybe somebody knows something. Yeah. Ill AMG, absolutely, Mother Aya. Thank you for fixing me. Really. Shalto, yeah, thank you. I try to be optimistic. It'd be better if they could do like a competent presentation at the stupid president. Rusty Grunnet says, sorry, can't abide by killing animals for ceremonies. I don't know what you're talking about there. That doesn't have anything to do with ayahuasca. But that is a thing in some ceremonies for some things that have nothing to do with that. Didier Van Den Dale says more than 40 scientific people from various nations have said these mummies are real. Absolutely. In fact, apparently it's up to 50 now. It's over 50 people now. Dr. Maria says, hi guys, I'm a medical doctor and watched a part of the Nazca mummy press event. And let's just say I was not impressed. The portions that I saw made no sense, especially the part where they were diagnosing the mummies in the CT scanner. Well, that's disappointing. Yeah, I think that they really did not do a good job with the presentation at all. Genghis says, Jack, I just got on here from Australia. Yeah. Again, happy to have some people from down under here. Weird File says, fuck paperclip, dude. You mean the Von Braun? Which one? Who's the paperclip dude? Didier says, Dr. Maria, have you seen the video summary of Jack Connor about these Nazca mummies? Yeah, I think the evidence that I showed in that supercut of research is more compelling. Yeah, I don't want to toot my own horn, but they did not do a great job with the presentation. You would honestly probably get more out of watching that. However much of that 2.5 hour supercut you can get through. Yeah, I really hate to. Yeah, Contigo says, "What do they sacrifice?" Yeah, exactly. Yeah, who's killing animals? I don't get it. Yeah, I don't get it either. Steve Bassett coming tonight? No, no, but we are gonna do it. Didier says the death of these beings was dated 1,000 years before. Yeah, yeah. The most recent one that we know of was 1,000 years ago. But according to some people, there are still living beings of those same subspecies, especially the little classic Nazcas. That little thing in Siberia may have been one. I originally bought into the debunking on that one, but apparently that debunking the thing that was shown with chicken skin was a mock-up made by the authorities to debunk it, but it wasn't the real being. The real being had like 3 holes in its cheek, the same as the Nazca beings. They have these little indentions in their cheek. That's really weird. And some people are comparing that to the little cavities on a reptile. So very interesting. Very interesting. All Protestant says all Protestant. Did you see the Truth Seekers episode? Okay. Yep. Sorry, Jack. I am poor. ASF. LOL. Oh, about going to Aya. Yeah, I mean it does cost a little money. I mean it's not like the most expensive thing in the world, but especially if you had to go to Peru and everything, it would be an expense. But I'm able to save a little money. Fortunately. Dr. Maria says, did you hear Von Dindale? If there is a summary of what was concluded, would be appreciated. It's tough to find a 2.5 hour break in my day. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Like I say, just get through as much as you can get through. Alt Protestant says to Christian Bat, I have watched everything. Okay. Oh, wow. Have you watched that whole 2.5 hour thing? Great. Didier says the corpses have been protected, wrapped with a special powder. Yep. Shalto says, remember, peeps, we're in a Nazca mummy live stream. If you don't think they are real, you're in the wrong chat. Hey, I agree in part, but at the same time, I would love to convince some people. That's why I put that 2.5 hour supercut together. So people that are actually genuinely interested and they don't just have cognitive dissonance and knee jerk reaction. They've seen some stupid video saying it's dolls or whatever. And if you're open minded, I encourage you to go check out that supercut. But not everybody's open minded. A lot of people do have cognitive dissonance, and they are not going to go there, which is so unfortunate. We're not going to have UFO disclosure if people aren't willing to go there. One Life Man says Nazca Lines is a map to the underworld. Could be. Dave R says April 4th is the next conference, and hopefully they will have learned from today's conference. At least they got the American flag right. That's about the only thing they got right. Yeah, I hope so. So yeah, April 4th, we have that to look forward to, guys. April 4th, the next conference. Hopefully they will have learned from their mistakes, but I think people would take the April 4th conference much more seriously if this one had been better. But it is what it is. It is what it is. It's not what it's not. One Life Man says, when our ancestors come to this planet, our skin color is green. Okay, intriguing. Wally Linden says, you got to ask if Steve Bassett had access to information from Project Looking Glass, the one that forecasted the future. His shift storm event didn't happen. Okay. Well, I'll try to ask him about that. I think he kind of wants to stick more to like the nuts and bolts stuff. Talking about Arrow and that kind of thing. And I get that. But I would love for him to talk about the more out there stuff because I think he's into that kind of thing. Yeah. X37B says if nothing happened in Antarctica, it wouldn't be off limits. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Christian Bat says, alt Protestant, no, I don't listen to Arrow. What is that? Shalto says, I'm assuming you're joking. Shalto says, yeah, Antarctica being out of bounds is just crazy. Shermanator says, somebody is doing jail time for the mummies, as I heard it. Are they? Okay, yeah, I don't know about that. I know that Mario was, uh, I think he's like under probation or something. But it wouldn't surprise me if, because all of this is on the down low, right? It's Tomb Raiders, it's criminals, it's yeah, and it wouldn't surprise me if people were, yeah, they're smuggling stuff across the border. It's ridiculous. They some of them are resorting to smuggling stuff across the border to get these looked at. But some of them are looked at in Peru. It's not like the Ministry of Culture has a total lockdown because we do have the University of Ica in Peru actually studying that stuff. Ugh. Sorry. Nova Era says I was there earlier today. Took a picture with Jaime. Oh, cool. Robert Solis was there towards the end. Neat. Ugh. A double slit, right? Green Street is just chasing dollars. Yeah, I think so. Or else he's an actual propaganda agent. I think I'm going to give this another 10 minutes and call it a day. My voice isn't doing great. So if you have like a pressing question, you got to get it, got to get me to address it. Put in a super chat or super thanks. It just has to be $1 or $2, just so it'll pop up and I'll see it. Yeah. Nurse Diesel says, well, they need someone with real credentials to test these, or this will never end. Well, but they do. I mean, we've had the directors of hospitals look at them. We've had 50 doctors and scientists look at them. We've had the chief pathologist of the Mexican Navy. I mean, we've got people with great credentials that have looked at these specimens. It's not like some yahoos that got their degree online or something. So we've had some good people look at these things, but we haven't had very many Western people, and that's what we really need. We have had some, but we need more. Weird File says, I think the best thing we could do is to try to make people aware and care and maybe organize a protest. Yeah, maybe we need to start protesting. What video of a mantis? It's on my channel. It's called like crazy. I think crazy is the first word. If you do a search for crazy, it'll come up. I mean, it won't be called mantis. It'll be called look at this crazy video, but it'll have a picture of a being in the thumbnail. So, but yeah, I don't know what to make of that video. That video doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense for it to be BS, and it doesn't make any sense for it to be legitimate because it would have taken a budget to make that thing, which doesn't make any sense for the amount of play that it got or the people that would have been making it. So it's weird. It's weird. It's a weird video. Matt Owen says, everybody want to see a scientist eating a cheeseburger and shooting a gun while inspecting the mummies? Yes. We need American scientists eating cheeseburgers and shooting guns while at the same time looking at mummies. Double slit, what do you, Kawinky Dink? Weird Files, Mystical Wonderland, also wondering this. Shermanator says, yeah, they have real credentials. Yeah, they really do. Shermanator says they aren't paid actors. No, indeed. Shalto says, I'm sure they do have real credentials. Just because they are from another country doesn't mean they are less intelligent or trustworthy. Yeah, absolutely. Graphic Design for Free says, Bashar says he is from the future and a hybrid of us and the Greys, who the Greys destroyed their version of Earth. Well, let's not let that happen. Nurse Diesel says, don't go woke, please, as it has nothing to do with this. Yeah, I'm not Nurse Diesel. But I don't know what that has to do with this. Maybe about we need some Western scientists, and that's that whole thing. Well, I mean, that's just the thing that's going on. Doesn't have anything to do with that. But yeah. Contigo says mushroom tea in that mug. Just a little, just a few. Shermanator, more elongated skulls in SA than anywhere else. Double slit. Anyone believe the bowing whistleblower off himself? Oh yeah, the bowing. Yeah, that was weird, guys. That was weird. I talked about that this afternoon. That is suspicious. And no, I don't know his mental state. I don't know that guy. Maybe his friends and family will come out and say, yeah, he was suicidal. But yeah, he was between interviews, going out of town to give this whistleblower testimony, and he committed suicide. No, that doesn't sound sus at all, does it? So yeah, Tristan says E.T. had 3 toes and 5 fingers. Okay, okay, he had 3 toes and 5 fingers. That's just weird. Oh yeah, 2 of them were elongated. Okay, interesting. Weird files, double slit, not a chance. Mystical Wonderland, no way. Exactly. Why sculpt a mountain of potatoes? X37B says whistleblower shot himself in the back of the head 3 times. I don't know if he did. I don't know about that, but there have been whistleblowers and others that have shot themselves in the back of the head 3 times. Quote unquote. Wally says you got to ask if Steve Bissett had access to information from Project Looking Glass, the one that forecasted the future. His shift storm event didn't happen. Shalto says that Boeing guy apparently died of a self-inflicted wound, but the police are investigating. Usually they just close the case, so that's telling. Yeah. Weird File says you guys think ghosts are related to UAP. Where I'm from, a lot of people take ghosts much more seriously. Well, yeah, no, 100% ghosts can be related to UAP. They're not necessarily the same thing or anything. But yeah, there will be often poltergeist activity associated with UFO events. Sometimes people will see the dead aboard UFOs. Obviously, sometimes those are loved ones that may be screen memories, but sometimes they'll see Einstein or Tesla, Nikola Tesla aboard a UFO. So is that a screen memory? Would that make sense? Maybe, but maybe the spirit of Einstein and Tesla were aboard that UFO. 1/3 of all alien abductees are near-death experiencers, people who have died, been to the other side, and come back. Their brains have stopped. Their hearts have stopped. Their brains are dead. They're not hallucinating, but they have died, been to the other side, and come back. 30% of all alien abductees are composed of that demographic. So there's a huge crossover between the spiritual, metaphysical, mystical, and the alien, including my own major UFO event. Was a very metaphysical, mystical event. And I've made a video on that. Go check out my Jesus ayahuasca UFO. And again, I was not on ayahuasca when I saw the UFO. But yeah, Chumble says some of those tests that Nolan does are really, really expensive. So who would pay for that? Good question. And yeah, we do need some money being thrown at this stuff. I'm happy to contribute. But yeah, no, it's a fair question. Rob says, thanks for continuing to cover the Nazca mummy story. You always present things in a very fair and rational manner. I try. Rational, but thank you. I appreciate that. Mystical Wonderland says, most definitely, not sure if it's because of the time dilation. It makes realities merge or bleed through. Yeah, could be. Weird Files or dimensional bleed or something. Yeah. Christian's not buying it. He says ghosts are not real. I didn't think so either. A few years ago, I was an atheist and a materialist, a non-believer in UFOs or anything spiritual or metaphysical until first of all, I did a lot of research, and I guess I have a reasonably good sniffer, and it led me in some good directions. Then I began to have some experiences. A lot of experiences. Well, I don't want to oversell it, but a good number of experiences. And once you've encountered, the metaphysical, then you believe it. But if you're like me, it's much harder to believe until you've encountered it. I'm not somebody that is faith driven. I don't like the idea of faith. I never have. I like evidence. I like experience. And but it is out there. It is out there, Christian. If you seek it out. It might meet you halfway. I'll put it that way. I sought it out, and it met me halfway. It may have done a little bit of a majority of the lifting, honestly. Weird Files, I've thought about many worlds too, and how almost every paranormal thing could be explained as a variant of Earth. No, totally. I mean, that's a big part of this. The possibilities that are out there, parallel Earths, Earths from another dimension, or a future Earth, or yeah, absolutely. Maybe Bigfoot can come and go from alternate Earths. Yeah, totally. Yeah, consciousness is huge, Mystical Wonderland. Consciousness is a big part of this. Somebody please order pizza. Yes, that's a good idea. Nova says, I think what the lady said to Chris Bledsoe is similar to what Jordan Maxwell says about religion, being that religion pertains to the constellations in astrology. Okay. I love the Chris Bledsoe story. One of the most important, interactions ongoing right now. Really amazing. A man, a really great, good guy, as the prophet, uh, ambassador of a cosmic being of some sort, a manifestation of the divine feminine, a goddess, Hathor. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know who the lady is. I would love to understand that. Weird Fowl says, "How do you know?" Not saying they're real or fake, but people do believe. Yeah. Well, again, about ghosts, I'm not a person driven by faith. I don't like faith, but I did a lot of research, and then ultimately I did some ghost hunting, and then I encountered ghosts. I've got them on camera. I wish I could share them with you, but I can't share them with them. It's very frustrating. But yeah, ghosts are out there. Ghosts are out there. Double slit. Yeah, the other worlds theory is a bit of a lazy writer's crutch. It is, but it might not be. It might not be. There could be other worlds. There totally could be parallel Earths. Okay, think about it this way: not just parallel Earths, but Earths at a different frequency. So we're living in our own bubble of reality, our own frequency level. But if you could tweak the dial a little bit, maybe you could see a lot more. And there may be beings that can come and go from the various frequencies. And I think there probably are. And and some beings may exist across frequencies in a broader imprint than we do. That's kind of what I think. Some explain some of it. Josh says, good day from Australia. Well, good day, Josh. I appreciate that. Twilight's in Saga says, what do you think of Robert Sepper? Robert Sepper is an interesting figure. I think that he's got some compelling stuff. He's got some compelling stuff. Obviously, very controversial. And I hate to go there, go down the Robert Sepper rabbit hole. But he does have some compelling stuff, and I'm a huge Atlantis nerd, and he's got some really great stuff that he's put together on Atlantis. So but he is a controversial figure, and I get it, so it is what it is. Weird Fowl says, yes, LOL, damn Nazi man, F the whole OP, Canadians and Americans died to give those bastards a job. Werner von Braun had literally dueling scars. Yeah, a paperclip. That was weird. And it may still have some effect. There may still be some disciples of paperclip, if you will, out there in the mix. Very interesting. Rusty says, sorry, I thought I saw it on Hamilton Pharma, the little gerbil type critter. Okay. Yeah. We're talking about animals being sacrificed. Yeah. I don't know what Hamilton Pharma. I think I know what you're talking about, Hamilton Pharma. But yeah, no, it's nothing like that with Aya. Yeah, Double Slit says DMT is a poor man's ayahuasca. You tell him. I have experimented with DMT, but I haven't had enough to get a breakthrough dose yet. I have been able to see the colors, though. I was able to see this, basically the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. This beautiful mosaic of colors in the near distance, not that far away. and I realized that that beautiful mosaic was the gateway to the DMT realm or realms, or the at least the gateway to the gateway to the tunnel to the fractal realm. And so I saw it for like a minute, then it vanished. So I hope to try again, because I do think that you can have out of body experiences much easier with DMT than ayahuasca. But I still hope to have out of body experience with Mother Aya. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, Shalto says I don't remember a gerbil being sacrificed. I don't either. Jared says one man's plasma is another man's liquid. Okay, all right. Richard Greer, yeah, I'm not gonna go there. A double slit much easier to fit into your day too. Gerbils, yeah. DMT is definitely much easier to fit into your day. Weird files, DMT. I have done. That's when I realized every living thing is the same. Now that is a lot of the wisdom that you get from the other side. We are all one. Fees mass. There's no evidence for ghost, I guess. There is evidence. There is evidence, but it's easier seeing than believing. So if you want to see a ghost, you're gonna have to do some ghost hunting. Yeah. Oh, we got Double Slit says I like listening to you comment on each combo. Thank you very much, Double Slit. I appreciate that. Awesome. All right, just a few more minutes here. Patty Brady says need to see some real good quality UFO videos soon. Losing hope with the subject. There's great videos all the time. I show them on my channel sometimes. John Bell has been putting out some great videos. He's one of these experiencers that the phenomenon lets get them on camera. I mean, they want him to film them. And so he's got all these crazy videos. I mean, not crazy, but orbs and stuff, but also like nuts and bolts craft that will even make a sound. He's got 2 UFOs caught on video where you can distinctly hear a humming noise, like a kind of like a little motor or something, or a motor or something. Maybe it's the field generated. Yeah. Mystical Wonderland says, I've been wanting to go to ayahuasca ceremony forever now. Well, if you feel the calling, I hope you get a chance. Double Slit says, I'm petting a cat here. So, okay, cat. I know. Double Slit says, we're certainly all part of one whole. Yeah, I think so. Fees isn't buying it. He says, this guy is delusional. Mildly. X37B says, remember, they didn't say UFOs weren't real. I said they don't have any evidence of where they're from. Okay. Well, that's true. I mean, there are experiencers that will tell you specifically where they're from, but, different experiencers will say different things. Ultimately, knowledge comes from the beings. The beings aren't necessarily honest. I hate to say that. Life would be so much easier if the beings were honest, but they do tell different people different things at different times. Sadly. Cat's Eye says, I'm a Gaelic druid. I do Aya once a week, DMT once a week, and a microdose on psilocybin every day. Couldn't live any other way. Wow. Well, I guess you have fantastic connections to the other side if you're doing all of that. Aya once a week, like a full dose of Aya. So do you live on the dieta? Cat's Eyes? That's wild. That's wild. Do you just like say screw the dieta, or maybe have a relaxed dieta? Yeah. Weird Files. But that's amazing. That's amazing. Weird File says, "Oh man, give us all an update when you're done." Not Jack. No way. Delusional. Thank you. Thanks for the sticking up. T Hammer, would you like to see some UAPs I captured on video some years ago? Absolutely. Yeah, please link to that. And when the live streaming ends, can you please link to it in the comments below if YouTube will let you? Didier Van Dale says, the invaders, alien beings from a dying planet, their destination, the Earth, their purpose to make it their world. Daniel Sheehan has seen them. Okay. All right. Salto says, Rusty, I'll need to watch Ham's Pharma again. Maybe I missed the gerbil. Great series. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. It is a great series. Let's see. Sheehan is an interesting character, Double Slit. One Life Man says there's a reptilian monkey, East Asia, that can change color like a chameleon. Very rare creature. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. Ian Harding says, I know I'm going to rewatch the whole 2.5 hours. Oh, all right. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Catherine says, we love you, Jack. I love you too, Catherine. Let's see. Oh, Brandon, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that. Thanks for all the hard work. I really appreciate that. Let's see. Double Slit says, okay, so the mummies are Cosmic Road certified. I think so. I think so. At first I bought the debunking video on them, the scientist against myths or whatever it was called, but I was at least open-minded to seeing the research. And I did. And when I did, I realized how full of BS that debunking video was. So yeah, so I just continue. I've done the research and following the research that has been done. Unfortunately, there has been a lot. So yeah, absolutely. I am off the fence about the Nazca mummies. Shalta, yeah. Hey, John, how's it going? John Ramirez has joined the chat, or he did 20 minutes ago. Again, guys, if you want me to see your comments, leave a super chat because it'll pop up in bold right away. Shalter says, I just don't, and I only want to do this for another couple minutes. So if you could, but y'all have so many great questions. I love going through your questions. Thank you so much for all your awesome questions, guys. Let's see. Yeah, Shalto says, I just don't see why so much effort would be made to fake the mummies. To what end? No, exactly, Shalto. If the mummies were being faked, they would be being sold on the black market. It would be done as a profit-making venture. It wouldn't be given to scientists to debunk. It doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense, does it? So yeah, and 100 or more of these bodies that they're going to make for that purpose? No. Let's see. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. One Life Man says there's a lot of creatures out there undiscovered because of their ability. Some creatures' ability we don't understand. Yep. Sheehan is a rarity and honest, conscientious lawyer. That's from Jared. Christian Bat says Shalto de Puma. Sadly, a lot of people hoax things to make money. They do, but that's exactly the point. If they were hoaxing it, they would do it to make money, and they're not. Didier Van Den Dale says mummies are real corpse with extraordinary osmium implant attached. Yeah, the osmium is amazing. The super expensive, super fancy metal that we didn't even discover until a couple hundred years ago. It's crazy. And yeah, they were implanting that in their beings 1,000 and more years ago. Wally says, I assume that the gray aliens are demons because there are so many reports of them waiting to replace hybridized humans. Demons want humans either gone or deformed. I don't know about that, but the hybridization project is definitely real. They are making hybrids. They are making hybrids. So that is something that hopefully is being addressed. I hope, so some people have an encouraging take on the hybridization. Some people think it's a good thing and that the hybrids are here to help us. Now, I've seen reports of some of the hybrid behavior. It's not encouraging. So I'm not convinced that they're here to help us. So, that's why we need like the control group. Like if they were like the good guys, we need Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones. We need those guys. We need somebody fighting the good fight, if indeed there are bad actors out there. But unfortunately, we have what we have, which is an abusive series of black programs that are doing shady stuff, and we don't know why. We don't know what they're doing. Shermanator says Brian Forster paid for those DNA tests. I believe no academia effort. Okay. Nurse Diesel says he worked for BCAC, which is Commercial Aircraft Division of Boeing. Okay. The gentleman who mysteriously died. Okay. Yes. Okay. Sean K is big on shooting bent arrows. Sean has osmium fused to his bones. I love it. Espion says you got to be careful with grays. They have been shown to be mental manipulators. Yes, they will. I mean, can't they all manipulate your mind? But yes, the grays absolutely can manipulate your mind and wipe your mind, make you see things that aren't there, make you think, make you think things happened that didn't happen. Christian says, Shelter de Puma, you should check out Truth Seekers with Steve Cambion. They are long videos, but check out his live shows. Okay, well, it's probably debunking. Let's see. Double Slit UVA has a long-term afterlife study. Awesome, love it. Yeah, I really applaud what Bigelow has done with the afterlife research. I think that's amazing. I hope he continues going with that. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna call it a day. But let's see. Hang on. A comment about the 4th of April. Let's see if they show the Giants there. Yeah, maybe now that they've worked the bugs out, maybe now they can show the Giants, right? Maybe now will be the opportune moment. I hope so. Yeah. Did Mick West just say there are really old balloons from a prehistoric birthday party? Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I hope you got something out of it. And yeah, like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff. And I will see you guys next time. Whenever I get my OBS figured out. Unfortunately, that may compromise my video making until I get that figured out. So, if you have any thoughts on that, please leave your thoughts in the comments section because I don't think the live chat will appear after the video ends. So, but yeah, please leave your thoughts, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack the Cosmic Road signing out.